You know that silence that creeps into your life, not all at once, but little by little? It starts with skipped conversations, dinners spent in the same room, but on different planets. And then, without realizing it, you begin talking to yourself more than you talk to them. That was my life. I wasn't a victim. I wasn't innocent. But I was empty. My husband? Successful. Charming. A man of many words to many people, just none left for me. We were together in name. But emotionally? We were strangers passing through the same hallway. And then, there was him. Young. Ambitious. He had recently moved into the guest house we rented out, my husband's idea, of course. He was quiet. Respectful. But there was something in his eyes, like he could see right through me. I never planned for anything to happen. Honestly. I just wanted to feel seen again. Even for a moment. Scene transition, voiceover continues as visuals fade to soft flashbacks. The first time we actually spoke was in the kitchen. It was late. The power had gone out in half the house during a storm. He knocked gently, flashlight in hand, asking if everything was all right. It was such a simple thing. But when was the last time someone asked me that and actually waited for an answer? He stayed by the counter as I poured 2 cups of coffee. We talked, for hours. Not about anything forbidden. Not yet. Just life. Goals. Art. Books. And silence, the kind of silence that feels warm instead of heavy. When he finally stood to leave, he paused in the doorway and said something I won't forget. You don't have to keep carrying it alone, you know. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Because the tears in my eyes weren't ready to fall, not yet. Part 2, a new kind of silence. After that night, something shifted. Not between us. But within me. Suddenly, the silence at home felt louder. Every empty dinner. Every unanswered question. Every moment I stood at the edge of our marriage, wondering when I stopped being someone worth responding to. And then, like a whisper I couldn't ignore, he kept appearing. In the garden, reading quietly. On the porch, sketching in a notebook. At the mailbox, offering a calm good morning that somehow meant more than all the noise I'd grown numb to. He never crossed a line. But presence alone can be dangerous when someone feels absent in your life. Cut to narration, one afternoon. It was raining, light but steady. I had just come home early, drenched, carrying groceries. My husband wasn't home. Again. As I struggled with the bags at the door, it was him, again, who appeared. No words. Just a warm smile and a quiet way he took half the weight from my hands. He followed me into the kitchen. I offered tea. We didn't talk much that time. Just, the kind of silence that felt full. Not empty. Was I lonely? Yes. But it wasn't about desire. It was about being known. About having someone notice your breathing change when you're anxious. Someone who looks at you and sees more than a role, more than a wife, more than a shadow of who you used to be. And that's when I realized. He wasn't chasing me. But I was slowly drifting toward him. One night, I stood at the door of the guest house. No reason. Just. I needed to feel something. I knocked. He opened it, surprised. Everything all right? He asked. I should have said yes. But instead, I hesitated. And in that pause, the weight of everything unspoken between us filled the space. He didn't move. Didn't invite me in. Didn't touch me. And yet, I'd never felt so emotionally naked. I'm sorry, I whispered, stepping back. I shouldn't be here. He nodded. Not with judgment, but understanding. And I left. Still intact. But cracked, right down the middle. Part 3, the moment that changed everything. The days after that night were quiet. But not the kind of quiet I was used to. This was charged. Like the pause before thunder. I avoided the guest house. Not because I had done anything wrong. But because I almost did. And that almost was haunting enough. My husband noticed something was off. Not with me, no. With the groceries. He asked why we were out of his favorite wine. That was it. Not about where I'd been. Not why I hadn't been sleeping well. Just the wine. I wanted to scream. To ask him when he stopped looking at me. When I became just another object in the house he managed. But I didn't scream. I smiled. And bought 2 bottles the next day. One evening, as I sat alone in the living room, my phone buzzed. A message. From him. Just 3 words. Are you okay? I stared at the screen for a long time. No emoji. No hidden meaning. Just genuine concern. And in that moment, I realized how low the bar had become. That someone asking if I was okay could feel like love. I replied. Yeah. Just tired. He didn't push. Didn't pry. Just sent back. Here if you ever need to talk. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because of guilt. But because for the first time in years, I felt awake. It happened 2 weeks later. My husband had gone on another business trip, last minute, as usual. I stood by the window that night, staring at the guest house. Light on. Curtains open. And a sketchpad on the desk I could just barely see from across the yard. I walked over. Not because I planned to. But because my heart had already crossed the lawn before my feet did. Guest house, door opens. He opened the door before I knocked. He had seen me coming. Neither of us spoke at first. I can't stay, I finally said. You don't have to, he replied. We stood there, 2 people trying not to fall apart. But it wasn't physical. It wasn't romantic. It was worse. It was emotional betrayal. Because in that room, I knew. I had already given him something I never gave my husband. My truth.